Hello, my all the lovely, gorgeous little children out there. I've written down the story for you all, and this one is called "The Land of Gratitude." The old floorboards in the house creaked. Katrina slammed the door, and it fell off its hinge. "Why can't we live in a better house?" she complained. Her mum overheard her, and she reminded her, "At least we have a house." She thought as she went out of her house with her younger brother Stacy, who was following behind her. "You are so lucky to be more clever than I. You are only 10, whereas I am 11, complained Katrina to Stacy. Stacy replied, "Well, let me ask you, when was the last time you did your homework?" Katrina replied, "Homework? That's so boring." Stacy nodded his head and said, "Yes, and you never pay attention." Katrina complained, "That's because I don't like my teacher." Stacy replied, "Well then, if you never pay attention, don't expect to get anywhere." All of a sudden, it was as the sky was splitting in two, and from that split a rainbow appeared. The clouds formed a beautiful castle in the sky, made from silver, gold, and gemstones. Stacy gasped, "Look at that beautiful castle. I wish we lived there instead of the dump that we live in." "Let's go and call for Abigail." Stacy asked, "Why do you hang out with her? She is 17, so much older than you." Katrina smiled, "Because I like her. She is so much fun." On their way to Abigail, they passed Drake's house. He was only 23, who had a young wife and a baby boy. His house was a decent modern house with a swimming pool. Katrina sighed, "It's not fair. Drake has a wonderful home, and our home is rubbish." Out of nowhere, the most beautiful unicorn appeared with many colours in her mane, and as she shook her head, gold and silver dust sprinkled from her. She then quickly flew away again towards the beautiful castle in the sky, which disappeared again, but in the distance she heard children sweetly singing. Oh, how grateful they were towards their Creator for bringing them through the trials. "Are we imagining things?" asked Katrina as she scratched her head. Stacy replied, "I don't think so, because I saw and heard the same as you." Katrina and Stacy at last came across Abigail's house. The two children knocked on her door together. Abigail greeted them with a huge smile that showed off her beautiful pearly white teeth. "How lovely to see you both," cheered Abigail. Katrina chirped, "Lovely to see you too. There is something I want to show you." Abigail asked in excitement, "What is that?" Katrina grabbed Abigail's hand in hers and swung her arms together with hers. "Let me show you," she smiled. The children skipped happily to the field past Drake's house. "If we come here, they will appear to us," said Katrina. "Who?" asked Abigail. Katrina pointed to the sky. "The unicorn and leprechaun and castle." Abigail smiled. Abigail smiled. "I believe in all these things too, but we will have to wait just a little longer." Katrina looked at Abigail and complained, "I want to go there now. I want a better house than the dump we live in." Abigail asked, "Why don't you like your house?" Katrina complained, "It is boring. It has no swimming pool." Abigail replied with a half smile, "But you have a garden with a nice swing." Katrina snapped, "I am not a baby anymore. I have outgrown the stupid swing." Her eyes by then glaring with anger and her teeth gritting together, she put her hand in her pocket and pulled out her mobile phone and shoved it into Abigail's face and snapped, "Can't you not understand? I really hate my house." Abigail's face looked a bit shocked and she sighed, "Wow, Katrina, you really plastered it all over YouTube and Facebook how much you hate your house. I feel sorry for your poor parents who have provided for you. Maybe you should not complain and be grateful for what you have. Katrina snapped. You don't understand me at all. I thought you were my friend. Well, you are no longer my friend. Abigail looked at her puzzled, wondering what she did so bad. But she just replied, suit yourself. But you know this, you would have thrown away a good friend who cares for you deeply. Then Abigail just walked off, back to her home and family. Stacy said, well, I am younger than you, but that was really pathetic, the way you just treated Abigail. But Katrina was so full of pride that she thought that she was in the right and Abigail was in the wrong. Stacy and Katrina walked back home and past Drake's house. On their way home, Katrina kicked the dirt under her feet and sulked. Most people have it better than us, Stacy replied. No, they don't. Drake overheard their conversation as he played with his son on the mat. He spoke up. Do you really think so? Katrina sulked. Yes. Drake said, well, in that case, I want to invite you both inside. The children did not want to refuse the invitation just to be able to have a nose inside Drake's beautiful house. As it was so beautiful, so they nodded their heads and followed Drake inside his home. He gave them a drink of lemonade and each and a cookie. He opened up a beautiful oak wood drawer and took out a photo album. There were photos of children living in tents. Katrina asked, who is that little boy in the photo? He explained, that is me. Katrina replied, no way, because your house is beautiful. Drake nodded his head and said, look, you see my parrot? Katrina nodded her head. Drake continued, look, there is the same parrot in the photo. I had him since I was a boy. I have not always been well off. As a child, my family and I could not even afford a home to live in. We was very poor. We got very cold in the winter and too hot in the summer. We did not get all the lovely snacks that you get to enjoy, but only very basic food to keep us going. I've had a very hard upbringing. Katrina asked, but how did you get to where you are today? Drake replied, by being grateful for what I had and a lot of hard work. You see, one day I felt so bad about my situation. I walked into town and there was a man lying on the streets with his car to sleep on. He was begging for food as he had no money at all. He told me that he lost his parents and job and he could not find another one. Yes, he had nothing, but you know what he told me? That he was grateful just for being alive, even though he had nothing at all. It was in our gratefulness that the Creator allowed me and the other man to visit the castle in the sky, because from that point I could see that at least I had parents, a tent, and a little food. But this man I empathized had nothing. We both was taken inside the castle of gratefulness. The Creator gave me the skills to become a doctor and help others. So now I can afford this lovely home and have been blessed with a good wife. As for the other man, he was blessed too. He has become one of the greatest surgeons and has a beautiful family and has incredible wealth that he always blesses others with. Casey and Stacy left Drake's house again. She felt a little ashamed, but still harbored anger. Katrina sighed. Okay, they are grateful and blessed, but I still resent you being more clever than me. After all, you're my baby brother. Stacy replied, not that much younger, and you think that you have it worse than me. But at least you have a nice teacher, even though you don't like her, right? Katrina replied, yes. But what has that got to do with it? Stacy replied, because your teacher is kind, even when you fall behind. Ours is not very nice at all, for she humiliates us when we get a wrong answer. By bullying us, she makes us stand out in the front and makes us put on a dance hat. It's awful. She even sometimes canes us for just getting because we get one answer wrong. She gives us detention just because we arrive 1 minute late, and she is so mean. But you know what, big sister, I am grateful because I love being learning at school. Katrina sighed. Maybe life is not so bad after all. The unicorn appeared again right beside her. She shook silver and gold dust in front of Katrina's face, and Katrina broke down crying. I have been so ungrateful, and I have also been mean to Abigail. I don't know if she will forgive me. I need her friendship after all. I can see now that just because people seem to have it better than me, that is not always the case. We never know their life story. Even so, I can see how I need to be grateful for what I have and not complain about what I don't have. All of a sudden, the leprechaun appeared and picked her and her brother up on the unicorn's back. They flew into the sunset and the rainbow, into the beautiful gold, silver, and gemstone castle. It was there that she met Abigail. She wept and apologized to Abigail. Abigail just smiled and gave Katrina a big hug and said gently, "It's okay, I forgive you." They did not see the Creator but heard his voice. He was saying that he wanted them to know his joy despite their circumstances, and that very soon this would be their eternal home. But they had to go back for now. They all went back home again. We don't know what the Creator had in store for Katrina's future, but the most important thing was she was now grateful and had an attitude of gratitude for what she already had. And Katrina and Abigail remained firm and faithful friends. And that's the end of the story. And I hope you all enjoyed it, was blessed by that. And God bless you all. Bye for now.